Carnival just revealed new features, two new ships coming out, and their most ambitious project yet, while Norwegian is quietly retiring ships. We'll break down Carnival's upgrades and Norwegian's retreat, and what all this means for your future cruises and your cruise news for today, Tuesday, April 8th, 2026. Carnival just announced two new ships coming out. The first one is the Carnival Festival, which will be released in 2027, followed by the Carnival Tropical, which will be released in 2028. So these are Excel class ships, so they're the same as the Mardi Gras, Celebration, and Jubilee, but they do come with some new features. They are removing the bolt
and replacing it with what they're calling Waterworks Ultra. Sensation Park is a multi-deck aft water zone with family rafting slides and a splash pad and many other upgrades from previous water parks. They're also updating Alchemy Bar, which now includes an adjacent music venue. They're also connecting more staterooms. Now this is huge for families. They are going to have 1,000 connecting staterooms. I know when we were traveling with our kids, it was hard to find connecting staterooms. So I'm really excited for this upgrade. This will make traveling with kids much easier, especially for larger families. They're also increasing the activities available for the youth and for children. So you might be wondering, why are they getting rid of the Bolt? I love that. Well, they're focusing more on activities that can accommodate a larger number of people and also require less maintenance. This is all part of their initiative to have a more fun-centered itinerary on their ships. So Carnival isn't done there. They have an internal classification they're calling Project ACE, which stands for Advanced Cruise Experience. Now, this most likely isn't going to be the name of this new class of ship. It's just internally what they're calling it, and they're not giving us a lot of details yet. But the first ship from Project ACE is expected to be released in 2029, and then the second in 2031, and the third in 2033. So these ships are massive. They're around 230,000 gross tons and will have over 3,000 staterooms, which would accommodate just under 8,000 passengers if it's fully booked. To compare this to Royal Caribbean's Icon of the Seas, which is currently the largest cruise ship, it is 250,800 tons. And it can accommodate about 7,600 passengers. So Carnival it's a little bit smaller, but can accommodate a little bit more passengers. Carnival has said their Project ACE is focusing more on innovation and technology and increasing the fun experience that passengers can have. So is Carnival trying to compete with Royal Caribbean? As far as largest cruise ship on the ocean, they're not. And even Royal Caribbean's new Star of the Seas isn't any larger than Icon of the Seas. It looks like maybe cruise lines have maxed out how large they're willing to go with ships, which I'm happy about because I feel like cruises are already pretty crowded, and having 8,000 passengers on a ship is like a small town. I think that's just a lot of people, and it's really crowded. So I'm excited that they're not going to keep on getting bigger and bigger. But what Carnival is doing, rather than competing in size, they're trying to compete in experience. They want to increase their image as the fun ship for all ages. So Carnival isn't stopping with just upgrading ships. They're also upgrading and expanding their private islands and ports. It's already been announced. Half Moon Cay is expanding. They're developing the north side of the island. They're adding another port so they can have two ships at Half Moon Cay at once. They're calling this new section of island Relaxaway, and it will have expanded beaches, cabanas, private areas. This will also increase the boarding and unboarding time at the island, which is great. Currently at Half Moon Cay, you have to take a tender boat from the ship to the island, and that can take a long time. I remember last time we went trying to get back onto the ship, we were sitting on that tender boat for, it seemed like an hour. It was probably really 30 minutes, just waiting for enough people to get on for them to feel like it was good enough to go to the ship. So I'm excited for quicker unboarding and boarding on the private island. So in addition to Half Moon Cay, they also have Celebration Cay that is expected to open up later this year in July. Then also Carnival is renaming Mahogany Bay to Isla Tropical and doing some upgrades there. So all these experiences together will increase the itineraries they can offer, and they'll even have some of these stops on the same itinerary. So that'll be really interesting and quite enjoyable. So with all these upgrades on the new ships and then their ports and islands, you may be wondering, is it going to cost extra? Is Sensation Park going to cost more, or will Celebration Key cost more money? And the answer is probably not. Now, Carnival hasn't officially announced that they're included with your fare, but most likely they will be, because Carnival's focused on fun. And I'm sure there will be upgrades on the islands, like I mentioned, renting a cabana or villa or something like that. But general access most likely will be included in your fare. Carnival is expanding their fleet while Norwegian is shrinking their fleet. They just announced that 2 ships, the Norwegian Sky and the Norwegian Sun, will be leaving their fleet. Both ships are going to company Cordelia out of Dubai for a long-term charter. So the Norwegian Sky is about 25 years old and the Sun is about 23 years old. They are releasing these ships from their fleet, but the Norwegian Aqua just came out, and then we have the Luna coming out next year in April of 26. Because these ships are leaving the fleet, there have been several cancellations as a result. So passengers were informed that they would receive a full refund for the fare they paid, and if they used credit, the credits will be refunded. And they're also getting a 10% credit just as a thank you for being loyal passengers. So we have a lot of changes going on, and there'll be changes that will take place over the next 10 years. But a lot of changes nonetheless. New ships are coming out, older ships are retiring or going to other fleets. So Carnival is getting bigger and trying to improve the fun appeal. Royal Caribbean isn't getting bigger, but they're still focused on adding value to the customer. Norwegian is tightening their fleet, and they're doing away with their older ships and bringing in new ships, focusing on new, out with the old. So what can we expect as cruisers? We can expect better amenities, more thoughtful ship design, and the cruise lines listen to cruisers' comments and feedback, and it shows in their designs. So if you're looking to book on one of these new ships coming out, book as soon as possible. The earlier you book, the better price you get, and you can be sure you lock in your cruise on the ship. Don't worry about the price going down later on. If you book through a travel agent or through an agent with the cruise line, they will monitor pricing, and if prices ever go down below what you paid, they will credit you the difference. So which direction makes more sense to you? Do you like Carnival's direction of new ships, bigger water parks, and improved destinations? Or do you like how Norwegian is shrinking their fleet, getting rid of the older ships to make room for the newer ships coming in? Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about all these changes coming up in the cruise industry. Just leave your comment down below, and I will read every comment. So as always, if you've liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so. My name is Jordan with Beyond the Dock. Until next time, we'll see you as we venture beyond the dock. Happy cruising.